And Rich Trapper tapping in, TNN Trap News Network. You feel me?
Rich Trapper.
The homie wanted you to whitelist this shit too.
Who?
Rich Trapper.
Rich Trapper?
He be reacting to your shit.
Today, Rich Trapper type of TNN Trap News Network. We back in action with another reaction video. Back in this thing, like cook, cracking this thing, like, comment, subscribe. For more of this good content we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. Some news you could use. Navajito, you can't hit in nobody's Collegito. Subscribe and become part of the Trap Mafia. Hit that notification bell. Stay tapped in, hit all for what we got going on here at the latest, greatest TNN Trap News Network. TNN Trap News Network. Get into that, man. We got a little theme song, man. I like that. Newest single, Your Love. Ain't for me. Get into that if you ain't got into that. Get into that if you ain't got into that. Find me on all streaming platforms. Your Love Ain't For Me, man. Get into that. Plus, Tasty Live Resin Disposable Cartridges. Get into these. If you ain't got into these, man, available at all THC dispensarias near you. Look them up on Weedmap, man, wherever legal cannabis is sold, as well as Signature Honey Cigars. Shout out to T.I. Shout out to Signature Honey Cigars. Smooth honey, aromatic flavor, not intended for minors. Get into that if you ain't got into that. Get into that if you ain't got into that. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the deal, man. Today, we got disgraced cop Reggie Wright. I can only talk about death row. Adam 22 can't talk about getting blanked in the blank. That's what he's talking about. We finish up into this content. I don't know further do's or don'ts, man. Shout out to Bomb First. Shout out to Bomb First. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, show us some love. We in here, man. Let's go.
All right, Reggie. I know we did a segment recently where we talked about Adam 22 and him talking about the changes over at No Jumper. I wanted to get your opinion on something that he said though on Street TV, where he said that no one wants to hear you talk about anything other than death row stuff from 20 years ago, that it's just not relevant, or you're not relevant without the death row stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
See, the thing with Reggie Wright is that is like he kind of blew up off telling all these old stories about death row and all this shit.
That is kind of true. Just because Adam's a weirdo doesn't mean the fact that in this situation he's not the least weirdo of the weirdos. You feel me? The lesser of two weirdos, I guess would be the phrase I was looking for. Don't nobody care about what Reggie Wright has to say. We don't care.
And it kind of gassed him into thinking that people want to hear him talk about other shit. But in reality, that's not really the case. Like, he talks about No Jumper. I clicked on this clip. I wanted my fucking time back. I was just like, how the fuck is this even real, bro? Like, this is the worst commentary I ever heard.
Hold on, what'd he say?
It was just like, oh, man, like, No Jumper. They got a bunch of different gangs up there. Like, something bad gonna happen. One of these days, something bad gonna happen. Look here.
I can't help but to feel like that's kind of cringy and racist. I don't know why I feel like that's racist, but y'all let me know in the comments. Was that racist? Was it? Like, I feel like it was kind of cringy, like racial a little bit. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, it's just like, bro, it's giving old man sitting on the porch, and it's just dry as fuck. We want to hear you talk about Suge pissing in somebody's face.
Well, I would love to only sit up here and tell death row stories and music business stuff. I'll be honest. I would love to only be able to do that. But those get repetitive after a while. And to be honest,
I don't think it gets repetitive because in today's day and age, people are so enamored by gang culture. I don't think it'll ever get repetitive. I don't think people will ever stop watching gang fights, history of Bloods and Crips, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Anything that has to do with the LA streets, I don't think will ever go out of style because people are so enamored by West Coast and LA gang culture. I think it's a forever flowing fountain.
We don't do well with the music stuff. We get, we have a fan base for it, but we don't get a lot of people that would like to view it. But I think he must want me to sit up and then I swear, the few times I listened to on his show, all he talks about is something about an asshole. Either his asshole or some transgender asshole that he wants to go in, or for someone to go in his asshole. And so that's what he want me to sit up and talk about. I get his point. I know about death row. He knows about getting fucked in the ass. And so maybe that's why.
No wag 3 fingers drinking hot dog water.
He just talk about getting fucked in the ass all the time. But taking that, I would say the only thing we want to hear about from him is riding bicycles or allowing your wife to get fucked by other men, and how one day your kid's going to see this and see that daddy
It's a terrible meal, but right now Reggie White is cooking.
Daddy had no problem with it. Daddy allowed it. Daddy encouraged wifey to go home, to go get fucked, and then come home. And so that's, I mean, then if I can only talk about Death Row stuff, that's all he should be able to talk about. That ain't all neither one of us want to talk about. He said, I don't get any views or anything. Well, that's because he don't know much about me. And by his admission, and I understand he don't know much about me. He tried to play it like he didn't know anything about me when he brought up what I had said about Mac 10.
So I don't know if you know Reggie Wright Jr. But
Yeah.
he had a video come out the other day where he was like exposing what really happened in the West Side Connection breakup, and it was pretty much the same story that I've been hearing for years and years, which is
I
that
didn't hear it. What did he say?
it's basically the same shit that we've always heard.
About a year ago when him and Mac 10 had the interview. Come and find out everything I said about the West Side Connection group and what really was the root of it. Mac 10 never denied. And it turned out that later on in interviews that what Reggie Wright said was true. But I will show you a few videos
My bad.
that's not Death Row related. Just a few that did major numbers. Here's one right here. When I talked about some LA stuff that went on with Shaq, those numbers did okay for me. That did okay. Here's one. When we talk about Keefe D, those numbers did okay. Here's one when we talked about P. Diddy. Well, numbers did okay.
The numbers did do pretty well. He can't lie. He a weirdo. It's hard for him to breathe and live. But the numbers
Here's
did
the
all right.
one about the West Side Connection one that I talked about earlier that did okay. Wasn't Death Row related. Here's something where I talked about Jamie Foxx and Tyron Turner. Had nothing to do with Death Row. They did okay, right? I could go on and on and on. But y'all tell me, really, seriously, tell me who tapes 2 times a month, 3 times a month at the most, post something up every day, one personality, just one person, is Reggie and John. They do better
Shout out to John.
numbers than us. I'm not talking about the channels as a whole. You know, go and get it, pay a guest to come and do this. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about just one person that's talking every day, but don't take daily. I'm not comparing myself to a Hassan Campbell and all of them who goes on and do streams or I don't even think Star Report do them daily. I ain't talking about stuff like that. I'll tell y'all. Well, let's take Suge Knight. I like to compare me to Suge Knight. Let's talk about that. Let's look at that. Suge Knight tapes every 2 to 3 weeks, right? Look at his numbers. Matter of fact, our next episode will break down those numbers and show y'all the difference. Hey.
He talked like the fat Morgan Freeman we don't need, for sure.
So, thank you, mistaken again, Adam. Think you done caught in another lie. Just like the lie that D-John had to break you out on by posting those texts when you trying to act like you ain't never heard about him getting shot. And when you
Design did bust him off of that.
over there giving him condolences and checking on his status and how his leg doing. You see the goddamn Texas, but you gonna go on a show a month later saying it never happened. Okay, Adam. Use the proven liar now, man. So go and think about who asshole you gonna dig in. That would be my advice to you.
On that note, we are out of here. And that is enough of Reggie Wright Jr. We are just going to go ahead. Let's just, godly, let's get this. Godly, just close. Goodness gracious, there's a lot going on for $2 here. We finna get to the next video, man. Get up out of here to the next one, man. Like, comment, subscribe, red dot, slide it to the left. Figure out more of this good content we got going here at TNN Trap News Network. Get into that, man. Red dot, slide it to the left. It's free. I do Angel until he's free. We got